We're diving into a really fascinating case study today. It sits right at that intersection of history, urban economics, and, the future of work.
That's a great one.
Our source material is a local news item. It's out of Tamworth in the UK, and it's all about the launch of a new facility, the Elizabeth Bradford Business Center.
And right away, the thing that jumps out is the contrast.
Exactly. You've got this brand new hub, totally designed for modern, growing businesses. We're talking flexible leases, high-speed internet, all the amenities you'd expect.
But it's not in a glass box on some business park.
Not at all. It's housed inside this meticulously, beautifully restored 19th century building.
And that contrast, that's the whole strategy right there. So our mission for this deep dive is to really unpack how a local government initiative like this is doing more than just, filling a need for office space.
It's more than just real estate.
So much more. They are actively leveraging their heritage assets. They're solving a modern economic problem, the lack of scale-up space, by transforming a piece of their town's past. It's heritage being used as infrastructure.
Heritage is infrastructure. I love that framing. It's not just preservation for its own sake. It's preservation with a very real, very immediate economic purpose.
Right. A tangible return.
So let's start there. Let's start with the function. What exactly is the Elizabeth Bradford Business Center, and who is it for?
Okay, so primarily it's a serviced office facility, which for anyone who's not familiar just means it offers these high-spec, fully furnished offices.
Plug and play, basically.
Exactly. All the utilities, all the services are managed for you, and usually under really flexible lease agreements, which is absolutely critical for a business that's growing or changing size quickly.
And what's on offer here, specifically?
Specifically, you're looking at 14 serviced offices, and they're spread across 3 floors. It's got all the modern necessities, state-of-the-art meeting rooms, professional communal kitchens.
And crucially, for an old building, I saw it has full lift access.
Yes, which is a huge deal. It makes the entire building accessible, which isn't always a given with these historic restorations.
So it's a modern workspace, but this is actually the second hub that the Tamworth Borough Council has set up. They already have something called the Tamworth Enterprise Center. Why a second one? What's the difference?
And that detail, that's central to understanding the whole long-term strategy here. It's not just a one-off.
Okay.
The existing place, the Tamworth Enterprise Center, that's really geared towards startups, micro-businesses.
A very early stage.
The very early stage. It's got smaller entry-level offices, perfect for 1 or 2 people just getting an idea off the ground. But the Elizabeth Bradford Business Center is designed to be the next step.
Ah, so it's a ladder.
It's an entrepreneurial ladder. The offices are bigger, the specs are higher. It's explicitly designed, and I'm quoting here, to accommodate businesses that are looking to expand and progress to their next stage of growth.
So Tamworth is effectively saying, we'll support you from the moment you have an idea all the way through to when you start scaling up.
Precisely. And that's such a strategic move.
It really is. I mean, so many cities focus on that glamorous startup phase, right? But then what happens? Those businesses hit 5, maybe 10 employees, and suddenly there's nowhere affordable or suitable for them in the town center.
And they get pushed out. They go to a business park on the edge of town. Or worse, they leave the community entirely.
And you lose them.
You lose them. If you only build a startup center, you basically just become a training ground for other areas. You incubate the talent, and then some other town reaps the economic benefit when that company becomes a real employer.
So by creating this second hub, this expansion hub, Tamworth is removing a huge point of friction. They're giving locally grown companies a reason to stay, to keep their jobs and their tax base right there in the heart of the town.
That's the goal. It's about retention.
That makes perfect sense. But let me play devil's advocate for a second. How often do businesses actually follow that neat 2-step plan? Isn't there a risk that a really successful company just outgrows the new center anyway?
Of course. Some will. That's a good problem to have. But the model buys the community time, and more importantly, it establishes this powerful psychological expectation.
That the town has your back.
Yes.
Right.
The businesses that start there feel supported through that entire critical growth curve. And it's also about the critical mass it creates. Having 2 hubs full of innovative businesses right in the town center, that makes the whole area more attractive to outside investment, to new talent.
It creates a buzz.
It creates a buzz, and it matches the environment to the company's stage of growth. A messy, high-energy startup incubator is one thing, But a scale-up firm needs a more professional, polished environment for clients and investors.
Which a beautifully restored historic building definitely provides.
It's the perfect fit. They've matched function, size, and location to the stage of growth. It's just very smart planning.
Okay, that clarifies the modern function, the why now. Let's pivot to the aspect that really gives this whole project its character and its soul. The building itself,
Right.
the history.
We're talking about a significant 19th century structure. What was it before this?
So before the revitalization, this was known as the Coal Hill Building. And its history is just, it's deeply woven into the fabric of Tamworth. For over 120 years, it was the home of the Tamworth Cooperative Society.
Wow, over a century. A co-op building wasn't just a shop, was it?
Not at all. It was an economic anchor, it was a social hub, it was a source of community loyalty that could span generations. So just imagine the sheer volume of local history and memories tied up in that architecture.
So letting it fall into disrepair would have been a huge blow to the town center's morale.
A massive psychological blow, yes.
Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting, especially for anyone who loves architecture or preservation. During the restoration, what did they actually manage to save? What are the details that a modern worker would see every day? They invested heavily in this. It wasn't just a paint job. They restored these stunning stained glass windows, a detail you just never find in a new commercial building.
Beautiful.
They preserved the heavy wooden beams overhead. The original parquet flooring has been saved and treated. And you see this incredible exposed brickwork throughout the space.
And my personal favorite detail I saw in the sources, the ornate staircase.
Oh, absolutely. The staircase is a focal point. It's a statement piece. So whether you take the new lift or you use the stairs, you're interacting daily with this piece of 19th century craftsmanship.
It completely changes the experience of going to work.
It does. You're not walking into some generic, soulless corporate shell. You're engaging with history every single day. And, in the modern office market, that's a huge factor.
Good selling point.
A massive selling point. Companies, especially the innovative ones, they know that character and atmosphere help with recruitment and retention. Offering a workspace that feels unique and rooted in a place, that's a huge draw. It's the absolute antithesis of the generic office park.
And that commitment to the building's soul is just so perfectly reflected in the name they chose. It's not the Coal Hill Hub. It's the Elizabeth Bradford Business Center.
This was a masterstroke in what we call placemaking. Just a brilliant touch.
Who was she?
Elizabeth Bradford was the Tamworth Cooperative Society's very first employee. She started her job there in 1886.
No way.
Yes. So by honoring her, they've created this unbroken narrative, a story of local employment and community engagement for the building that stretches back over 130 years.
So the building's purpose has always been about the local economy.
Think about it. It started its life focused on local economic benefit through the co-op. And today, as the Elizabeth Bradford Business Center, its entire purpose is still creating local jobs and supporting the local economy. It's such a smart way to anchor the new to the old.
So we've covered the function, the modern serviced offices, and the form, the historic building. Let's connect this now to the big picture, urban regeneration. What does this one project tell us about Tamworth's overall commitment to its town center?
It reveals a profound and an active commitment. This isn't passive. This center is a core pillar of their regeneration plans. The local government is leading by example. They're showing they're willing to put their own capital into strategic assets.
And you see that in the quotes from leadership. The council leader, Carol Dean, explicitly talked about their commitment to supporting the town's entrepreneurial community. This is, intentional investment, not just hoping for the best.
And we can actually quantify that seriousness. This isn't an isolated project. It's part of a much wider $40 million investment aimed specifically at revitalizing the town center.
£40 million. That is a significant amount of money for a local authority. What else does that kind of investment cover?
It's a whole package. That money typically covers public realm improvements, so making the streets more pedestrian-friendly, better lighting, things like that. It covers infrastructure upgrades like better digital connectivity. And often it includes grants to encourage other nearby businesses to invest in their own properties too.
So it's about creating a whole ecosystem, not just one shiny building.
Exactly. It's about creating a holistic, engaging destination. The Elizabeth Bradford Center is meant to be an anchor in that plan. It provides the jobs, which drives the foot traffic, which then supports the shops, the pubs, the cafes on the high street. It connects preservation directly to economic activity.
But let's be critical here for a moment. Restoring a 19th century building like this, It's almost always more complex, more expensive, and definitely more time-consuming than just knocking it down and putting up a modern, prefabricated office block.
It is.
So why do it? Why take the hard road?
That is the fundamental question in modern urban planning, isn't it?
Mm,
And Tamworth chose the hard road because they were clearly prioritizing long-term value over short-term savings.
explain that.
Well, a new build is fast, sure, but they often lack any authenticity. They lack character. They lead to these generic, forgettable urban landscapes that all look the same.
Character displacement.
Exactly. By choosing to restore, they avoid that. They retain their unique architectural heritage, which is a powerful differentiator for a town center. It attracts the very kind of creative, expanding businesses that value a unique environment.
So the historic building itself becomes a premium amenity.
It becomes a premium amenity that they couldn't buy new. It preserves the vitality and the identity that make people actually want to visit and stay in Tamworth in the first place.
It really is the ultimate synthesis then. They are solving an economic problem, the need for modern workspace, while simultaneously solving a historical problem, the need to preserve the built environment.
And by doing that, they've created a model where preservation isn't a cost center, it's a revenue-generating asset. It strengthens the entire local entrepreneurial pipeline.
This has been a really engaging deep dive. We've seen how Tamworth has successfully blended the function of modern, flexible serviced offices with the form of this meticulously restored 19th century landmark.
And in doing so, they've honored the legacy of the Tamworth Cooperative Society and its first employee, Elizabeth Bradford. It just shows that local authorities can create this genuine, supported ladder for entrepreneurs
Turning a static, historic liability.
into a dynamic modern asset. It's a fantastic model.
So as you, our listener, reflect on this model, consider this. Given the success Tamworth has shown here, leveraging its history to create premium, desirable business infrastructure, how might valuing and restoring historic assets, rather than just opting for fast, cheap new construction, become the sustainable template for supporting business growth and community vitality in your own local economy? What stands out to you as the most replicable piece of this initiative?